right, everyone, welcome back. My name is Pritesh here with Kaizen Crypto, bringing you another video. So I hope you guys are all doing well. Thank you all so much for joining me here today. Today's video is all about NFTs. So I'm really excited to be joined by Skin and JP, both from Madden Art. So guys, thanks so much for joining us today. How are you both doing?
Doing good, buddy. Doing good. You sound like a rock star.
You know, I got to give credit to this microphone. You know, we've come a long way from going on one of those little plug and play microphones. So I appreciate the compliment.
We got some high-tech stuff going on. I've got my iPhone sitting on a little stand there in front of me. So.
There you go. There you go. That's how you do it. Guys, I'm really excited to be joined by you both today. I know, you know, with all the things happening right now with NFTs on Cardano, it's like there's so much interest around artwork. And what you guys are doing is really cool. I mean, Skin, you know, just to see some of your artwork, I watched that video that you had created on YouTube, just talking about, you know, your background and like how you got into art. And I really wanted to talk about here in this video, you know, some of those things. So I guess to start, you know, you guys had that pre-sale for that second drop. I see you got the Biggie painting behind you guys. Did you guys just want to briefly touch a little bit on how things have been going for you so far?
Do you want to go for that?
Yeah, so no, it's been really good. We've been really so pleased. We obviously wanted to try something a little bit different. We had mixed emotions and opinions about that, but it's gone really, really well. We've already got a little community, which we're really super stoked about. And yeah, it's been really good. Really pleased, you know.
I think the fun thing for a lot of the guys to understand is like what you just said. This is such a new space, right? So we're pushing boundaries to try and help everybody in the community push along together. So on the first drop, we thought, you know what, we know we're not ready, but we're going to give this thing a try because we've got the art and we've got the enthusiasm. And we know that we live in a forgiving community as far as we're just trying to do our best within, you know, very professional guidelines, so to speak, because we're artists, okay?
Yeah, we're allowed to break them.
And JP, right? So we put out the first NFTs thinking, yeah, you know, we love this space and we love the art. He's sitting there with his notepad, his pen and his notepad, and the orders start coming in on the website. And about 24 hours, he's still sitting at his desk with his notepad and his pen, right?
Honestly, we're
literally writing it down by hand.
Yeah, because obviously as artists, you know, we sell things. When we create things, they sell quite slowly and progressively, you know, and we went, so we thought, yeah, we're ready for this, you know, check a couple up and sell a few and email them.
500
chase it up, 500 later. You know, I didn't sleep for 5 days, literally. I had about 3 hours sleep. Ready pumping, just trying to make sure I didn't lose any information. You know, thought we were in this really good sort of space ready to take all this information on, but we learned loads. It was awesome though. So
and the community, by the way, stepped up big time from a technology point of view. Lots of people jumped into the space with us. We've got some phenomenal people locally. We got a chief technical officer by the name of Kyle, who is just, you know, like a brain on legs. And he's, you know, really put it all together. And we got people like Adam in Arizona. That's just been incredible. And so many more people within the community are offering us help, really. So we managed to really pull all that together really pretty quick.
And the other boss.
And Kyle. Oh yeah, and yeah. And by the way, right, here's the deal that I forget, and I'm gonna get killed if I forget. But his wife, Holly, is. I mean, JP's there at the computer and Holly's like, get out of the way, let me show you how to do it. She's just the most incredible woman. So she's fixed a lot of like little spelling mistakes because some of the community were calling us out for a few spelling and grammatical errors, right? And we're like, guys, we've normally got a tattoo gun and a paintbrush in our hand. Don't call us out on spelling, you know?
It's like obviously we put all these things right, like the first week was like idiot's guide how to beat smart contracts. So
yeah,
I mean, and to be fair, everyone was great. We were really like transparent, and that's what we wanted to do. And do you know what? We've grown so much in 14 days, like it's insane. Like, and what we've got in place, like we're chilling now. Literally just now, this time last week after the first drop, everyone was panicking when they're going to get them. Was they going to get them? Was the information correct? We're just chilling, like, because we've got a team in place after 14 days. The second drop, we haven't had to do nothing really.
Yeah, so we've obviously moved to partial automation now for the second drop as well, and then the future drops that are coming, we're obviously going to tweak and increase that automation. As far as operating without smart contracts, of course, right? So we're lucky that we've sparked some interest in the community, generated an awful lot of help, love, and support. We know our responsibilities. We're crystal clear on our responsibilities. We're not going to fail anybody on our ethical standards or anything like that. So that's all good. And we're about to accelerate things with this Sunday's drop. I mean, I'm super stoked about that one.
Wow. Wow. It's hard to imagine it's been that short a period of time, and yet we've come so far with it. I saw you guys, I remember on Alfred's podcast, showing off with the artist corner, what you guys were doing. And I was like, oh my gosh, I have to check this out. One thing that really piqued my interest with what you guys were doing is just the artwork. When I see the artwork, Skin, I guess this is going to be for you, and like how you are inspired by, what you put on the canvas. That's something that really resonated with me, because a lot of this art, it's not fine art, so to speak, but what you're doing, you're using the colors, you're capturing the emotion. So, something beautiful is just something I noticed with your artwork. But it sounds like you guys got the process together. It should be smooth rolling from here, hopefully, and things will just get easier as you go through it. And then, soon we'll see smart contracts and all that kind of stuff. But I just briefly wanted to touch on like what was the inspiration behind some of the paintings? I mean, what you guys have there is quite a beautiful collection. I think, is that we got David Bowie and we got Biggie in the background right there. Yeah. That's so cool. It's so cool, and I love how blockchain allows somebody like myself, without understanding a whole lot of the investment behind these fine art paintings. I'm we're in blockchain, right? So, being able to have access to something like a token that represents your physical piece of art, it's so cool to me. And it's like just being able to have a chat with you guys. I wanted to talk to you about the inspiration behind what you guys are doing. Like what's the curation process for these paintings?
Okay, so there's a couple of stories within stories here, right? One thing I should say on the front end, if I forget to say it, guys, a lot of people buying NFTs don't realize that we're able to burn into the metadata really nice high resolution copies of these paintings that you can print off yourself, by the way, and create a physical piece if you want. You can obviously play the NFT video on your nice digital screen to any size you want, and you can create a rotating display of NFTs. There's lots of ways that you can do that, but you can also have a physical piece. So when you're buying the NFT, you're getting the whole package, and a lot of people actually fail to recognize that it's, they're going to extract it themselves from in the NFT.
So you said a video. Okay, so wow, okay, that's blowing my mind right now. So there's a video inside of the metadata. How does that work exactly?
So basically, a lot of people missed out on. We did it on the first one. On the second one, the website wasn't quite showing it, but we actually got the GIF file that goes with it, that Kyle has actually put in with Adam, and that's accessible. So you see on 2 PM and things like that. You actually see the video there. People are actually discovering, by the way, people are discovering them right now. They bought them without actually seeing the GIF file, right? And they're going, oh my God, I didn't even realize that. We did put on the Twitter, YouTube, and things like that as well. We did do the drop on there as well with the video, but that's good. We actually, I think we missed one of the first GIFs on Cardano blockchain by 3 hours. So we made that about.
Yeah. So close.
So, you'll see that. Anyway, regarding the artwork, because I want to obviously talk about the whole relationship and the whole mission, right?
Sure.
And I'm actually a little bit uncomfortable talking about my artwork, because the bigger picture is the whole mission of what we're going to try and achieve, which is creating a platform and an environment for artists from all over the world. I was a broke artist. Let's be clear about that, right? Making not enough money to feed my, 2 children and my wife and have a lifestyle. And that's a common story in the art community that resonates with lots of artists, okay? So I managed to fight my way through that world and built up a collection over time. But really my art is about, I love music, I love color, and I love emotion, and I'm real passionate about all those things. And color, music, physical scale of paintings, when you pull all that together, it creates quite an intense piece. I was sitting on the other side of this table earlier on, actually looking back at these paintings, And I said to JP, mate, I'm going to have to swap sides because the emotional experience of viewing the painting was too intense for me. You know, I need to get them out of my eye line, right? So that's, in a nutshell, that's my journey as an artist. But my journey went into warp drive when my relationship with JP exploded from that meeting that we had at Christmas. And he's like, Jeff, I can digitize your artwork and I can do all this sort of stuff with it. And he opened a whole new universe of imagination for me. So when the two of us sit together now, it's like an explosion.
But the funny bit is now, with that, so Jeff loves digitalization, right? He loves the whole, like, he wants it all moving, he wants it going mad.
I'm like a child over it.
And the best thing is now, I came to him with that idea and said, like, let's do this. Now, he asks me to do things, I'm like, no, just leave them as they are. They're lovely. Like, I hate touching his paintings now, but it makes me, so then this is what creates the NFTs. It's swapped.
It's so sincere when I say, I'm uncomfortable looking at my paintings because I can see all the mistakes. 100% promise you, I'm looking at mistakes and I'm feeling the pain, right? He's looking at my paintings going, what are you talking about? I love them, they look great. And then, so I'm getting him to digitize stuff and take it into the imagination realm because of that sort of semi-discomfort that they're not good enough. So that's
the same then, and I with the end product as well.
He's exactly the same. So there's a lot of synergy here, you know. That's the art side of things. And then when you mix in the tattoo element, which is physically penetrating somebody's skin, they're bleeding while you're painting the art onto their body. I mean, his tattoos are just insane. And you're going to find more out about that as we go forward on this NFT journey, you know.
Wow. Wow, that's really cool. You know, you touched on so many amazing topics there. It's like creating an actual platform for artists from all over, you know, to be able to take advantage of this opportunity, tokenizing their artwork, allowing people from all over the world to participate. And you guys have quite the team, you know, what are the chances, right? So that's fantastic. You know, I'm so excited for you guys. I wanted to just ask you both about some of the experiences that you've had just doing what you've been doing for however long. I think, Jeff, you were saying 40 plus years. Is that for?
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
My painting story sort of started, I'm 56. Yeah, just work that out. I'm 56 years young. And I started painting as a kid. My mom used to teach me how to color little books and used to tell me not to go outside the lines. And then my elder sister, who was 9 years older than me, she was just like 9 years older, obviously very impressive then when you're like a little 4 or 5 year old child. She was a great artist, great singer, very colorful lady, and still is today, by the way. So that Karen was very much my inspiration. By the time I got to like 11 or 12, I was sort of selling my work to local families that want their dog painted or their budgery or whatever it is, right? And then by the time I guess I was 15 or 16, I, you know, polished my skills up quite a lot, but I wasn't intelligent enough to go to university. And we come from a working class community. I come from Port Talbot, and it's a steel town. So I got a job in the local steelworks, and my art career was like, you know, put on hold really. But then playing rugby, found women and beer and everything else. So really wasn't thinking about art. And then went on a rugby journey really. I was playing rugby all over the world, and then I took my art with me, of course, and I ended up getting some really big commissions. One of them was in Canada to paint Wayne Gretzky for the Canadian government. It was a 55-foot long mural by about 10 foot high in one of the municipal buildings over there. And I had loads of fun. It took me about 5 or 6 weeks to paint it, and it got a lot of attention. And then from there, I got some commissions to paint Greg Norman in his golf courses down in Australia. So I took those on board. And then really fast forward 40 years, you know, I've had private clients all around the world, and it's culminated recently in doing a painting for Rod Stewart at one of his big dinners in London to raise money for charity. I recently painted Gareth Bale, and we raised loads of money for charity with that. And it had 750,000 likes on his Insta account. So yeah, it's been loads of fun, you know, and there's loads of other stories like that, I guess.
That's really cool. That's really cool. Yeah, one thing I would suggest our audience to go and check out is definitely that YouTube video. I love that because you use the drone to capture those aerial shots and you can see some of those really cool paintings. So that's really awesome. That's really awesome. And JP, what about you, man?
Well, you want me to follow that?
Well, you know, it's hard to top that. I'm not going to lie. That's quite the story there.
Yeah, it's the same, like, you know, all of us, when you're artistic, you have a different journey from where you start. I was into fine arts and painting and all on that route first. So when I left school and I went to do the foundation degree, wanted to find out every mixed media and art there was. I really didn't know what I wanted to do. I just knew that I had to draw. It was my main goal and everything. And then I got to a bit of a crossroads because when you're good at art and everyone knows where you're going there, but you've got to decide how you're going to make a living from it. Because, you know, I like cars, I like nice expensive things. So I was like, right, how am I going to get them things? So I had to pick a direction. So I went to university and I actually went for the interview and I picked graphic design. It was either going to be like motion design and things like that, or film design, or it was going to be graphic design. So I right, okay, I'll do graphic design. So
I really hope he tells you the story, by the way, of the fact that he's an award-winning graphic design artist. So he's really modest. So make sure you get that out.
Oh, I got to hear this. Yeah.
So I go there and I go to the interview and I bring this portfolio. But bear in mind, I'm a fine artist at this point. You just paint and charcoal and things like that. And I go to the interview, never used Photoshop in my life. So I totally blagged him and managed to have an unconditional offer on a graphic design course. I didn't know how to use Photoshop. So I didn't have to get certain grades. And so I went there, I ended up going there. And in the meantime, I had to learn how to use Photoshop because I had to turn up and produce the goods, you know. And I obviously was there for 4 years. And during the course of that, I won a national award designing a credit card for a bank, National Bank.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was based on Banksy. So obviously, even though I was in graphic design, I was still doing things on Shepard Fairey, Andy Warhol, all paint related, and it's sort of that sort of unseen fine art that I was really still into, but I managed to put it into a very commercial purpose using like bank cards and so on. And then during that time, I was at that crossroads again where I'd have to probably move because where we were from, having a graphic design job was going to be quite hard to get. So it was like, right, where do we go again? To either move or sort of do my own thing. And off the back end of winning these things, and I got to travel. They sent me to like Amsterdam, all paid and chauffeur driven, and all these things, which is really amazing. I got to work in some big graphic design studios and get some really good experience. And I was at this crossroads again. So I was like, right, what am I going to do? So then I went to get a tattoo, and my dad was a tattooist before I was born. Then he had to stop because my mother made me a real job. And I was sitting there and I'd saved up. In the meantime, I had a job cutting grass. And my dad thought I'd hate it. So he thought I'd like want to go to London or whatever and get a graphic design job. And at that time, I loved it. And he hated that because I was just happy driving around a van cutting grass. And I went for a tattoo anyway. And I was sitting there. I saved for like 4 or 5 weeks of this tattoo. And it just clicked. I was like, I'm paying this guy 4 hours for 250 quid. It was more than I earned in a week. And it just clicked. And I went home and I said, Dad, I want a tattoo. So he taught me how to tattoo. And from there, I worked really, really hard. And we both now got a shop together, which all the family are involved in. We've tattooed from everyone that we probably adored as kids, you know, from sports players to, you know, really renowned people. And it's just amazing. You know, I work with my dad and my best mate to get to work with him every day. And then this is developing something else because of, you know, the relationships we gather with people in professional areas to every walk in life, you know, directors, doctors, you know. I've been really, really fortunate. And then obviously me and Jeff met and it's gone from there. So it's just another direction again, but obviously with my graphic design background, meeting, you know, web developers, which is Kyle, which is a family friend anyway. It just aligned perfect and it's been really good, you know, and I think we're very fortunate, you know.
And the other thing is a lot of people don't pick up on, I guess, you know, because right now they're seeing, you know, those physical pieces of my paintings, but, you know, what you got to appreciate, none of this would happen if we didn't have this amazing synergy, you know, as two people within this space. So it's like the crazy artist being me and the cool artist being JP is the honest truth. with the tattoos as you know, as like a crossover connecting the dots, you know.
Yeah, because I think as well, because of with tattooing where it's at the moment, you know, it's accepted, it's cool. I mean, with the crypto community, I think it's just all like about it's the standards at the moment, isn't it? But the era and you know where we're at, and I think that's why I knew how to, like, Jeff was at a place, and he was, you know, he loving what he was doing, but I knew that there was potential there for Jeff's paintings to be seen by the world, and a bigger note again, you know, in a different environment, especially crypto community. I've been in there for a year. Jeff had been in himself, but like we were in different spaces.
Yeah,
there,
different spaces, in and out for the last 3 years.
And I was in with my brother-in-law David, who UK DA, and give him a shout out. And we were just into it every day. And then I just seen a gap in the market, seen NFTs growing, and I knew that, to be honest, I knew that Jeff's work and a lot of other people's work, and and the fact that I liked the idea of, I'm a businessman as well. And I know that if I want to purchase an NFT, I wouldn't want to just purchase thin air. I don't want to part of a physical asset. And something we worked off, we always said is like, if the Mona Lisa was broken into 100 pieces, would you want to buy a piece? I would.
Yeah.
You know, and that's how I look at it. And it doesn't mean that nothing else matters. Of course it does. They're all amazing. I love all the different artworks, and I love how they're approaching it. But just for me as a personally, I knew our journey, that all these real artists that we meet every day, they are suffering. Some of them, you know, like we mentioned.
Yeah, there's you know, there's artists out there, right? Which, and again, I have to choose my words quite carefully here, because there's lots of ways to express yourself in art, and I got that, and I understand that, right? But we really want to do our best to represent the authentic art community that are out there, that are actually genuinely producing really great art and really working on their craft and everything else. And if we can help them move into the digital space and receive the recognition they deserve, and to financially monetize their position so that they continue on their creative journey, then for us, that's the bigger mission. You know, that is the bigger mission, really, is helping the art community in general. And that can be all genres of art.
Yeah, 100%. You look at traditional painters that Jeff is, you know, he's speaking to every day at the moment, because Jeff's dealing with the artist premium and doing other things. And they're all coming from the same place. They haven't just been affected COVID. They've been living maybe, like Albert now, for example, is like, how many years? 6 years?
Yeah, painting, yeah.
And you know, and that's cool. But you know, things could be better for him. He should be, for the work that he's producing, he should be recognized, you know. And so now that's what we're going to do for him. But then from my side of things, from our businesses, from like tattooing, for example, COVID has put everyone out of work. We've worked like 15 weeks in a full year. But then these people are sat in the house. I seen a picture yesterday, I was talking to another tattooist, producing 6-foot murals of Japanese hand-painted art. And I'm like, how many have you sold? Oh, like 2.
Yeah,
you know, so
the art is fantastic.
Yeah,
they're not making any
so
money.
It's about coverage, and that's what our job is now, to get these people. We're gonna not only, it's not all about us. That's great. We've already achieved that. That's fine, right? But now we've got a mission. That the mission is we need to show everyone what these people are producing, and give them to show them the door to entry into this world. You know, and it's cool. It's fun. You know.
Yeah. That's I feel like that's the revolution behind it. And, you know, that brings us to a great point. And I wanted to talk to you guys about this because, you know, just trying to think of some ideas on how artists and creatives can start to capitalize on this movement. Here we have blockchain technology. You know, to your point, JP, you were talking about this person who is creating beautiful artwork. They just weren't able to make any money off of it because of COVID. You know, the situation was that they couldn't go out and open their shop to sell it. So how does a creator or an artist go about tokenizing their artwork? I mean, like, how does it work as far as royalties, copyright? I guess, could you tell us a little bit more about how does that work?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, at the moment, like, you know, obviously we are up against the whole smart contracts issue. So until that happens, there's not going to be a sort of standard that everyone needs and wants, you know, but what we're doing, we're creating the best way possible what we can. You know, we're in a bubble here, which, you know, may or may not burst, but what will come out of it in a positive way, there'll be a standard set so that everyone is happy and they feel comfortable. They'll feel that their purchasing sort of experience will go great, you know. So in the meantime, we need to try and figure that out both commercially and non-commercially, because, you know, for the artists, because they want to receive what they deserve also, because traditionally, if there's agents and whatever, you know, like they call them escrows, and obviously with what we're doing in crypto, but you know, you want to make sure they're not exposed to a degree. So that's what we're doing. We're looking after them and keeping like very low minimal costs for them. And then traditionally, you know, people, what was the percentages you've been been in this world?
I mean, I've lived in the art world for a long time now, and I've got friends that are very successful artists, and a lot of people don't realize that. Let's talk about the traditional route for a quick second here, and then I'll segue into how they generate their NFTs. But it's important that you understand the whole picture, right?
Sure.
So traditionally, an artist would create a painting, then they'd go to a gallery owner, and they'd say, hey, please, Mr. Gallery owner, please will you display my piece? The commercial arrangement that the artist arranges with the gallery is often extremely biased towards the gallery doing pretty good, because the gallery, in fairness, has got expenses and everything else to pay. So in fairness to the whole gallery industry,
and that goes
right?
also back to we only sell a couple of pieces.
Yeah, and then doesn't have a huge audience coming in. So often those relationships are 75% for the gallery, 25% for the artist. In my recent communications with a lot of the leading galleries, it's 90% for the gallery, 10% for the artist, by the way. Pretty exactly. And honestly, people just don't realize this. And if there are gallery owners, you know, saying, well, we do a 50-50, great. Well, some galleries do 50-50 as well. But what I'm saying is the absolute truth, because I know it to be the truth, right? I've been in that space. Whereas in our relationship, here's what we're going to do. We're going to reach out to the artists. We're going to help them digitize their art. So let's say they've got a high resolution photograph of their art. We're going to help them identify a little digital team that can help adjust and manipulate their art very sympathetically, or sometimes quite dramatically. So there are varying degrees of digitization of a piece of art. It could be literally just a plain piece of art, or I could have the full 3D spectrum added to it. There's lots of opportunities there. Then we obviously take that and then we generate that as an NFT on the Cardano blockchain. So when that's generated as an NFT on the Cardano blockchain, it's much cheaper to do it on the Cardano blockchain than it is to do it on the Ethereum blockchain. Therefore, we don't generate all the gas fees. So when we onboard an artist into our Mad in Art scenario, we charge them zero, absolute zero. So right now, as we onboard these artists, we're able to charge them zero, right, for generate their NFT. Now, we might build a little small fee into the generation of the NFTs when we go into full automation, because we don't want people just generating stupid, ridiculous NFTs. So we're working right now on a lot of governance documents, a lot of process documents that make sure that the quality of the art that ends up on our website is really governed by the community that are participating, with a lot of social media voting and things like that, and lots of governance. But going back to that journey, the NFT is obviously generated far more cheaply and effectively on Cardano, right? So then we grab this artist, he's not paid any money, we introduce them to a global audience that are all of a sudden in a position where they can put money across to us to purchase that artist's product, okay? Mad in Art own the NFTs, by the way, so we sell them on behalf of the artist. That's how that works. The artist then keeps 75% of all the revenue that's collected in. We as a platform need the 15% because we've got software engineers and teams developing all around the world right now. We're going to pay for that process at some point, of course, right, on the journey. So 75% versus 10% for an artist is a no-brainer, and a global community looking at their work. Pretty cool. And we just drop the money into their bank account.
I love it. I love it. That's fantastic. You know, you compare that to something like what we were describing earlier, it's night and day. You know, that's the whole revolution behind it, I think. And, you know, one thing that's really amazing that you touched on was just how cheap it is to mint these NFTs on Cardano.
Yeah.
Right now, I feel like there's so much, I guess you could say almost like hype, right? There's a lot of interest about NFTs, but from what we're seeing for the most part, a lot of it coming from mainstream right now is happening on Ethereum. And I think that's what's going to be very interesting is when people start to understand that, hey, you don't have to spend $100 just to mint your token for your artwork. You could do it for a fraction. You could do it for less than $1. you know, something like that, I feel like is going to set Cardano apart as it comes to minting these tokens. So yeah, you know, very interesting. I think it's amazing. And what you guys are building with this platform too, it's really going to revolutionize the entire industry. So fantastic, fantastic. Guys, you had mentioned earlier about some exciting news coming up. Could you give us a little hint as to what's to be expected?
I'm telling you, on Sunday night, the world of Cardano is going to explode on Sunday night, because on Sunday night, we're going to drop on the whole community the most iconic painting and now subsequently NFT that the Cardano community has seen. We're going to drop on the community Bas Van Galen's portrait of Charles, and JP has worked some magic on the physical art, and he's added some features to the digital art where you're going to be literally looking at the screen going, oh my God, that is so cool. So we're going to make that available as an open edition drop Sunday night for 24 hours. And I really hope that the whole community really get in there and purchase these, because as you now know, 75% of that income is all going to go to the artist. And when I did the interview with him today, actually, it's been edited right now. It'll get released in the next couple of days. It was such an emotional experience to talk to an artist that's been on this wonderful journey of 10 years working with some of the leading portrait artists to learn how to learn his craft. Imagine 10-year apprenticeship, you know.
He's lived everywhere.
You know, he lived all over the world, right? But spent 10 years specifically learning how to paint portraits, and that's why his work on obviously Charles is so good. And then when I told him what we're about to do and the potential income that he was about to generate, I mean, his reaction was, I thought he was going to have a heart attack, honestly. He was so excited. And I can't wait for JP and I to do the follow-up interview with him 4 or 5 days later, when we say, hey, Baz, boom, that's how much money do you think you generated for yourself? And, you know, he's going to come up with a modest figure, because he's very modest.'s a very lovely human being. And then we're going to say, hey, this is the actual money that the community has generated on your behalf. And that money is now going straight into your bank account. And I hope and pray that that story of his resonates around the world of art. I hope people tweet it and retweet it. And then all of a sudden they're like, wow, this is a radical change in how artists are being treated all over the world. So yeah, this is exciting. And we had an email just the other day from a lovely young lady, a Colombian artist, you know, and we're going to drop her in the future as well. She's doing super cool things with Rubik's Cubes and everything else. She's going to love that. I've given her a little shout out here, right? And once we get all that packaged for her, I know that by dropping her, you know, on this platform, that income that's generated is going to change the lives of hers, her family, her little village in Colombia. It's going to be exciting, you know. I'm passionate about it.
I can hear it from your voice and just how you speak about it. That's fantastic. I am so excited about that. So guys, this Sunday, look forward to that drop. I'm excited about that. That should be very cool to see. So I guess, guys, we've covered quite a few topics. I wanted to go ahead and leave the floor open to you. If you did have any remarks as far as what you're excited about with your platform, you know, maybe just talk a little bit about what's to be expected going forward.
Tell him about, I tell you what I'd like him to say. He's super modest, so sometimes I'm going to bully him. I just get excited. I drink too much green tea and I get excited before the calls, right? JP is like the coolest designer you've ever seen. So he's throwing ideas at me and I'm saying, stop giving me those ideas. I'm not going to sleep tonight, right? But tell him the ideas about, if you're comfortable with, know some of the branding you're going to do for the ID, and tell them about the voting,
so we want to, obviously there's a community thing here, so we want to separate sort of what we're doing right now, which is Mad and Art, and obviously we've got a separate program that we sort of run in. You've got academies that we obviously bring in for younger artists. Jeff is going to be giving sort of tutorials and helping artists become their own business people as well. But what we do, we want to do like a verified artist corner. So we're going to have certain artists that we're going to work with for a period of time. We've handpicked these people. Like, you know, a lot of people we've had 30, 40 artists a week contact us so far. I mean, we're hand-picking, you know, some really, really good artists that we think that the world needs to see. So we got like...
And also will be good long-term investments for the investors and the collectors, because we've got to respect all the communities, the artists, the investors, and the collectors. We understand our responsibilities there.
Yeah, so we're trying to build something that's really cool. And we want the community to, like Jeff has said a few times, that they'll be picking who they want to see, which drops. And that's something as these algorithms be built, they'll be able to pick and choose what they want each week. And yeah, so with a verified artist corner, what we want ideally is that we're working with certain drops and certain artists, but there'd be like a system to where
we've got to vote, like a vote to promote system.
Vote to promote system.
So the community will get a chance, like in a decentralized fashion. We want to move to decentralization as much as we can, because we want to embrace the ethos and the ethics of the space that we're in. So our community will be able to vote artists up. So you'll get, you know, a starting artist, then you'll get a rising stars, and then you'll get verified status. Like you get the blue tick on Instagram. He's come up with a super cool logo. The MAD logo will be the blue tick.
And people are going to get to know these artists too. Because you got to remember, people will fall in love with some of our artists with their stories as well as just their artwork. Beautiful. And then they can follow that track with them as they go, you know. So, and that'll be up to them. You know, we can't decide everything for everyone. So we have multiple people dropping on per weeks, and this is where this idea's come from. And we got ideas within ideas. We got animators. We got a comic starting.
The comic is so cool. He's come up with the coolest comic ever, designing the journey of, documenting the journey of the company, but through a comic. Instead of a boring book, he's actually created a comic of all the key points of when we met and everything. It's amazing.
So like I'm working with an animator now, and we're already 4 or 5 pages deep. You're going to appear obviously now 2 weeks time into one of our comments, because obviously you're part of the journey now, and so that's it. And that's what we want to do. It's just something with a bit of a twist. Some key pointers that Cardano. There's some of the stories of obviously Charles, Alfred, which you need to mention, because Alfred is a friend of a lot of these painters. He's a legend, so Alfred's a big part, obviously, now, as people have seen this week. We've now working together. We got a few other surprises up our sleeve in terms of Alfred. You're going to see Alfred in the comic. You know, we got loads of cool stuff happening. So, you know, it's going to be fun. And there's just things happening. We're doing collaborations with people you're already buying from. There's just loads.
And by the way, we should say as well that it was Alfred that brought us Baz, the artist. So Alfred's acting as his agent, bringing the artist on board,
and be rewarding him.
And we're making sure that obviously that we have an agent's commission built into this whole process, which we'll document very clearly on the website, by the way. And obviously it has to be extremely fair and all that's fair. But we respect the fact that some artists really don't want to come into this space, but they want to receive the financial benefit. So they're going to need an agent just to manage them into this space. And that's precisely what Alfred has done very responsibly, you know, at Hotel Cardano, because he knows that the long-term mission is we have a gallery space now in his hotel, 10 meters by 4 foot, by 4 meters, that's going to be decked out with all the digital screens. And everybody that drops on our website is their NFTs are going to be, it's going to be a gallery exhibition that goes 365 days of the year. And we want all of the Cardano community to visit the hotel, take a look at the free gallery, have a little glass of wine outside of the hotel or whatever, and just have a lot of fun with the art, you know.
And we hope as well is that because obviously Alfred has built this thing for he's a true ambassador, you know, regardless of status or whatever. You want somebody who represents everything within it by living it, and he really does live it.
He lives Cardano, guy.
Absolutely.
And bear in mind, Alfred does anything for anyone. He didn't incentively try to get part of this. We actually asked Alfred, and he's just a super nice guy. And then what he's doing now, we can all travel from all over the world to go to the Cardano Hotel. That's going to be like the medium, you know, the middle point of the world for Cardano. And we want people to send stuff to Alfred so you can put them on the walls.
Yeah.
You know, fill up the hotel. Like you have a breakfast. And Charles's podcast will be on. Your podcast will be on. Alfred's podcast, and we want to, you know, have like things on the wall.
Because don't forget now, for the hoteliers have been through very, very difficult times because of COVID. And Alfred's, you know, literally nearly lost his hotel, you know, hung on by his fingertips and continued to promote Cardano and the whole community and everything else and work for it. So anything we can do for him on his journey, I think is a great thing to do, because he was the first hotel in the world to accept, you know, first business in the world to accept ADA, you know?
Yeah.
And we're not going to be happy till Charles gives one of his ponchos for Albert's walk.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, you know, I completely resonate with that. Alfred has just been, you know, here from the start, and it's like the amount of people that he's helped, and to see his platform grow with the Cardano Hubs podcast, you know, Cardano Hotel, all that kind of stuff. And I saw the community even get together around his Cardano Hotel Challenge, you know, because of the tough times he's been going through with COVID and all that kind of stuff, you know, really just trying to rally the community around his mission. So absolutely, you know, however we can help. I know that he is such a tremendous community member, and it's amazing to see how you guys are able to collaborate. So excited about all those cool things that are coming up. So guys, very interesting conversation today. I learned so much about what you all are trying to do. Of course, Madden Art, a platform for artists from all over the world to be able to showcase their artwork. I'm so excited to see what you guys can come up with. We are just starting out. You know, it's just amazing to think about. So, gentlemen, thank you all so much. I really do appreciate you taking the time. I really did learn a lot. I'm excited to be on this journey with you guys and seeing your progress. And, you know, just excited for all the cool things that you guys are able to create.
Oh, thanks, buddy. And we can't wait to launch the VR section of the website in the near future, where you can put on your VR headset, walk straight into the gallery, jump inside one of the paintings. I mean, we're just getting
going. Man. Yeah, now we're talking.
We definitely need a green tea sponsor. I would just like to thank you as well, because obviously we love your podcast as well. It's an awesome opportunity to really speak of what we're trying to do, because sometimes, you know, we find it hard to sort of people to get the mission, because it isn't just about us. We actually, you know, it goes hand in hand, and because it's important to us.
It's really important, because right now you're just seeing our stuff on the website, and pretty soon the website's going to change, like in a couple of weeks' time. Then it's going to change again, and then in like 3 or 4 months, when smart contracts are here, it'll be a perfectly oiled platform for artists all over the world. And then, listen, we'll have a lot of fun at that point.
And we'll be a walking example. You know,
yeah.
We've literally been in the trenches, and we've
there
had to like fight our way out. And that's what we're going to do. We've done the hard work to show everybody else the easy work.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The sky's the limit from there. Very nice. Very nice. All right, gentlemen. Well, thanks so much again. If you guys did enjoy this video, please be sure to drop a like. Also, guys, where can people find out more about Madden Art?
MaddenArt.io. So it's MAD. MAD stands for Make a Difference. MaddenArt.io.
Perfect.
And check the Twitter as well.
And Twitter.
And on social. Yes, yes, absolutely. And don't forget about that drop happening on Sunday. Looking forward to that. Very cool. All right. So artists Skin and JP, gentlemen, thank you so much. It was a pleasure. Hope to see you guys again soon.
Thanks, buddy.